From the towering spires of Middenhiem, the Council of the Wolf has roared forth a clarion call, echoing across the realms. They seek valiant adventurers, forged in valour and unyielding in spirit, to join the noble elven consort, Malriel of Eonir, whose ancient lineage stretches back to the dawn of the world. His sacred charge is no less than the salvation of Ladril, a luminous high elf of Safari, diplomat of the shimmering embassy at Altdorf, whose wisdom once bridged the fate of empires. This peerless soul was torn from the light by a marauding horde of orcs, brutal warlords of tusk and fury, whose ruthless ambush shattered his retinue upon the shadowed roads to the Imperial city. Guided by the piercing gaze of his elven scouts, Malriel has uncovered a path of destiny. Delicate elven tracks, etched in blood and desperation, lead to a colossal dungeon, a yawning abyss carved into the cursed wilds of orc and goblin dominion. This subterranean citadel, forsaken by the gods and swallowed by aeons, now groans under the weight of greenskin tyranny, its depths a crucible of chaos and slaughter. The elector count of Middenhiem, clad in the mantle of righteousness, has thundered a vow upon the altars of Ulrich to each hero who wrests Ladril from the jaws of doom and returns him radiant and unbroken. He shall bestow the kingly ransom of 150 gold crowns, gleaming as the sun itself. Yet the true prize lies beyond coin. To carve your name into the annals of legend, to stand as a beacon against the tide of darkness that threatens to drown the world. Three indomitable sons of Middenhiem answered the summons of destiny to succour the valiant Malriel. Tomash Thunderbeard, a titan among dwarves, his voice a tempest that shook the stones of the earth. Beside him marched Helmut, his sworn brother in arms, whose heart blazed with unquenchable valour. Gottri Skimgrew, spear-wielder of peerless skill, completed the triad, his gaze as sharp as the blade he bore. Laden with provisions and clad in the iron of their forebears, they ventured into a forsaken lair. A cavernous maw of darkness, abandoned by time, its silence broken only by the echo of their tread. They beheld a stair of ancient chisel, plunging into the depths of a second realm. The air grew heavy with foreboding as they descended, their torches casting flickering defiance against the gloom. A mighty portal of oak groaned open at their touch, revealing a horde of orcs, their eyes agleam with malice, guarding a treasure chest wrought with runes of old. Outmatched in number, yet unbowed in spirit, the champions sealed the gate and drew their foes into pursuit. With cunning born of war, they retreated to the upper halls, sundering the orcish tide into fragments ripe for slaughter. In a chamber of shadowed stone, The heroes forged their stand. The orcs, blinded by wrath, sundered the door with a thunderous crash and charged into the fray. The dwarves' stratagem bore fruit. Tomash, with a single sweep of his storied blade, smote the first orc asunder, his lifeblood staining the floor. Helmet, swift as the north wind, clove the second beast twain. The last, its courage faltered, fled shrieking towards the lower sanctum, only to meet Gottfried's spear, a harbinger of doom that pierced its craven heart. Down the stair they crept, silent as wraiths, unto the orcish lair. Victorious, the champions gathered their strength, their eyes fixed upon the abyss below, where the high elf, Ladril, yet languished. Their ambush struck like lightning from a clear sky. The orc warlord, a colossus of sinew and fury, bellowed a clarion call to arms. Yet the dwarves had woven a tapestry of death within the narrow breach. Tomash and Helmet, twin pillars of might, hewed through the vanguard, their axes a dirge for the fallen. Malriel, lithe and lethal, darted forth, her blade kissing an orc with a wound that sang of vengeance. Gottfried joined the line, his shield interlocking his kin to form a bulwark unyielding, a wall of iron against the tide of green flesh. The orcs' onslaught was a tempest of savagery, their crude steel rendering the hero's flesh with grievous toll. Yet the dwarves endured. Their resolve forged in the fires of hardship. With a final roar of triumph, they cast down the foe, claiming the chest, a trove of 100 gold crowns, glinting like the stars of the firmament. Beyond a rack of arms bestowed upon Tomash 6 arrows, feathered harbingers of future strife. Tomash, now anointed leader by deed and valour, bade his companions scour the lifeless passage for secrets veiled. His hand, guided by fate, uncovered a hidden portal, beyond which lay a hall of peril. Goblins skulked in the flickering torchlight, overseen by an orc warlord of towering dread. The champions stormed forth, their assault a thunderclap. Tomash smote a goblin with a blow that sundered its wretched form, while Gottfried's spear drank deep into the last imp's lifeblood. Then rose Gorgrub, the orc warlord, a mountain of wrath flanked by his goblin vessel, Nobgob. Helmet, daring the jaws of death, struck from the shadows, his axe biting thrice into Gorbug's back. Yet the beast stood, unbroken. Tomash turned his blade, the fabled wet noodle, upon Norgub, carving 2 wounds into its vile hide. In its death agony, Gorgrub lashed out, a blow of ruin aimed at Gottfried that would have rent his soul from the world. But Ulrich, god of wolves and winter, stretched forth his hand, and a fate point spent, Gottfried defied the grave, rising anew to bear his spear. Wounded, yet resolute, the champions struck the final chords of their foe's doom. Gorgrub and Nobgob fell, their tyranny extinguished, yielding a second chest. 150 gold crowns, radiant as the dawn, augmented by the blood-stained purses of the vanquished. A stair to the heavens beckoned, and the heroes ascended, returning to the mortal realm to mend their battered frames. Ladriel, their quarry, remained lost in the dark, his peril waxing with each passing hour. In the warmth of the Dog and Pony Tavern, a peddler offered a map of promised riches for 400 gold crowns. The champions, their coffers scant and their hearts fixed upon Ladriel's salvation, spurned the lure. Their quest was singular, their oath unbroken. Thus ended their first descent into the orcish abyss, a saga of blood and glory writ in steel. Heed, for their tale is far from sung. Deeper they shall plunge into the shadows yet unpierced, to wrest the high elf Ladriel from the clutches of fate.
Hello my friends. My name is Owen, and I do a lot of the voiceovers for these Crown of Command videos, including this one. If you enjoy what I do, why not follow my podcast, Time Between Times, which tells myths, legends and ghost stories from all around the world. Or you could buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Owen Staton, or become a patron at patreon.com/Owen Staton 7. I'm also available for any voiceover work you might want doing. Go to welshstoryteller.com and get in touch. Diolch ffrindiau. Hwyl fawr.